Hi, everybody. Grady Polson. Welcome to the America Agency. Hello, everybody. Grady Polson here, the America Agency, Family First Life America, all different marketing agencies, Polson Financial, myself, Trey Honeycutt. We're here to rock and roll. Super excited for today's call. Got my man Trey Honeycutt coming on shortly, and I will love on him big time here in a few minutes. Love everybody that's joining us. We've got a few updates we run through. Then we're going to talk with Trey about persistency. Then we're going to talk about this incredible new lead type we all have access to. But here's my plea, my marketing angle, and my request to you, if you're on here already, is this simple line I say every week: a party is more fun with more people. So if you're on here now, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. But who would also benefit learning from someone who manages a team of hundreds of agents that have the highest persistency in the industry? Who would learn to lean about a new lead type? Is there any prospects you have that are frustrated about the thought process of buying leads and confused kind of how it all works, that could get that ease settled in? Is there anybody that's getting started in your business that would like to learn about, from the horse's mouth, how this, some insight to this business? Trey has a unique and incredible ability to make the complex simple. And so if you're confused, if you're worried, stressed out, struggled, be here. But also others might feel the same way, so invite them on with you. We got simple ways to access. Join America Live. Grab that link, drop it in any of your group chats, WhatsApps, Telegrams, etc. On top of that, we're live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram, and we're live on YouTube. And so concurrently, we're doing our best to get the information out there to the people that want to hear it. But we could always get a few more on here, a couple hundred on so far. How high can it get? How many people can you invite on from your team that would like to learn about this? And we're talking not just surface level, go figure it out. Trey's got PowerPoints, he's got support, he's got training, he's going to walk us through A to Z how to access the success stories. He showed me some leaderboards of agents, and they are crushing on these leads. Like, I'm not like old school mortgage protection, paper mailer, in-home crushing. So if you didn't even know what that means, I highly advise you to get more people on this call. Trey will be on here in just a couple minutes. Let me do the news, and then we'll get Trey on here in just a couple minutes. So without further ado, we'll rip through these, but I always love to cover it because it's a reminder of the basics and principles. And as Jim Rohn talks about, there are no new antiques. There's only old antiques, and they're antique because they've survived the test of time. So I always love to plug live dials. I've got so many new agents getting started that think they've got to do this on their own, from their own kitchen table, on their on their iPad or laptop. For sure you do, but it's a heck of a lot more fun to launch into a Zoom room with a bunch of people who are doing it just like you're doing it. As my boy Christo Bolger talks about, he says 10 presentations I want every new agent to hear and see before they start dialing. They hear objections, they hear how they're navigating the apps, how they're navigating concerns and challenges, how they're presenting. So if you're not yet doing that, if you're a new agent out there, screenshot this, get into Slack, ask your upline manager, ask the person who invited you on, hey, how do I get in one of those Zoom dial rooms? I want to watch people make sales. Well, here's a start. So make sure you're jumping on, and make sure if you need the training, be here, lock in. If you're doing great, then join one of them and let other people get great like you are. So moving forward, Integrity Connect. Integrity, our incredible parent company, is continuing to innovate. We have with the rampant growth of recruiting, we've had a lot of agents looking for E&O options. We've got our classics that we recommend based on their situation. But you can log right into Integrity Connect. They have partnered with the absolute bargain basement price of the best price you can get E&O at. So take a look at that. You can get there through Integrity Connect. Your agents can log in and get access to E&O right there. Huge discounted prices. And for those of you that have that expense renewing every month, look at transferring your expenses, save yourself some money. Also right now, 10 life apps. We ran that promotion last year. It was a tremendous success. Hundreds of agents earned a $1,000 bonus heading into the holidays, and Integrity's, continuing to innovate. I'm in a group chat right now with the CTO of Integrity and multiple of his engineers, the vice president of Integrity Life, and Andrew and Zach. And all we get is when there's challenges or issues or hiccups or quirks, we drop it in the chat, they work on it, we ask for the NPN, the agent's number, and we're exterminators right now. We're crushing bugs. So I understand it has not been perfect, but we're getting a heck of a lot closer right now. And so to help pioneer and champion and to help bridge that gap of usage, we've launched another 10 life apps submitted and issued by, I believe, May 1st. If my old eyes can read, May 1st.
And issued and paid by May 8th.
And issued and paid by May 8th. So you got plenty of time. It's February 12th right now. We have a ridiculous amount of time. You can do that this week and be done. And then, keep stacking it in. Maybe I'll talk to the Bobs about some promotion for the #1 life app submitter, what we can get them, what we can do in that regard. But another great benefit, we appreciate them investing in us. We also appreciate them investing in creating a phenomenal tool for agents to go and take their leads right there into Quick Quote and then single sign-on into the carriers. It's only getting better. And as I tell agents right now, on the health side, because we're a life conglomerate, an absolute amazing amount of life, on the health side, 80% of all agents use the Integrity Connect Medicare health side. And on our side, probably between 10 and 20%. Why? Well, we're fickle and we're stuck in our ways and we've got simple processes and the tool needs to improve. Well, guess what? They're going to continue to improve the tool. They're going to continue to invest in it. We're going to keep making it better, easier to use, and all kinds of things that help us make sales faster and protect clients and families easier. So jump on in there, take advantage of it. All you got to do is submit the app. As long as it issues, they'll track it. You get over 10, you get paid in May. So pretty cool. Moving forward, Sean Mike, my man, taught me an absolute amazing amount about business. He does a call every single Friday. It is without comparison, the finest, highest level leadership mentorship call I get to be on. His mindset, his perception on business, the way in which he makes the complex simple, and the way he gives you reality checks on what real problems are is something that only he can do. So if you have it within you, we'll drop the link in the chat. Please join it. It's $9 a month. You get on there, get access and training, all the archive calls, an incredible option for you to continue your personal growth. There's the only place where you can guarantee a positive return. It's not Bitcoin. It's not Dogecoin. It's not Ethereum. It's not XRP. It's not even NVIDIA right now. The only place you can guarantee a positive return is money that you invest into yourself. That's the guarantee for a positive return. So the money that top people do each and every month, each and every week, each and every year is they look at what percentage of their income do they invest in their personal growth. And if right now your only personal growth is Instagram Reels and TikTok stories, you got to start looking at other places to be able to allocate some money so that you get better for it. So we'll drop the link in the chat. Do we have a link on here, Natasha? Or we just have a picture? So yeah, we'll drop the link and post it. So we'll pin it in here for a little bit. And we'll email it out. Or just reach out to me, we'll get it to you. A couple of final things. YouTube channel, selfless, shameless plug. We spend 20 to 40 hours a week working on this. We have over 925 videos on this channel right now. That we've been from interviews. This video, this training with Trey will be on this channel within a week, as well as there's 20,000 plus subscribers, and we try to put out content, about 3 to 5 videos every single week of trainings and insight, high level stuff. I always talk to them when I'm recruiting people, like, well, how do I get access to your training? I'm like, it's on YouTube. They're like, you mean that I don't have like to pay a fee, or there's no password to like your back portal with like 2FA authorization with a text code? I'm like, no. We don't do that. Sean taught us early on this philosophy. He says, we give all our best stuff away. Why? Because two things will happen. Someone out there will watch it, they'll like it, and they'll want to join us. We win. Or they'll watch it, they get better, they stay where they're currently at, they go protect more families and make money for their own, and reciprocal, he wins for his life. In the end, we're helping someone out. And that's a great philosophy we choose to live by. We don't gate stuff. We have no, for the most part, we're trying to just help society. And in doing so, we did 100 million last year. So we're very grateful for our opportunity. We're very grateful for our position in this business world, but we also don't take it lightly, and we work hard each and every day like someone's trying to take it from us. So, check it out. We got links out there, and go check out our YouTube channel. 925. I can't believe we've done that many interviews. So it's just working every day, trying to help everybody get better. So moving on. Last but not least, or one more thing, January. Absolutely humongous month coming out of the holidays. Usually we see a dip heading out of the holidays. We still did $18,441,030 with 2,267 agents. Incredibly proud of everybody, especially the top 20. Justin, 51,000. Andrew C, 52. Ali, 53,000. Luke B, 54,000. Christopher Horton, 54,000. Austin L, 55. Sebastian F, 55. Alicia F, 56. Luke L, 57. Carol B, 60,000 in January. Jenna Sonia, great job, 60,000. Riyadh Morsali, 63,000. Great job, brother. Weston W, 66. Michael M, 67. Austin Becker, 81. Kimberly G, 82. Santiago M, is that 92? Oh my gosh. Rare Air now. Christian DeCobo, 100,000. Trey Howe, my brother, 116,000. My other brother, Mr. Julius Gilder, 118,000 issue paid in the month of January. Guys, results not typical, don't be typical. These numbers are based on your skill set, your lead investment, and your determination to work hard and not listen to the noise in your head. I couldn't be more grateful to be in a company surrounded by people who have such high standards. So great job, everybody. Incredible month. Looking forward to seeing how far and how much we crush it in February. In a short month coming out of convention. I can't wait. So, all right. First, final commercial. We doubled the numbers since the last time I made this commercial. So I'm happy so many more of you are here. But here's what I want to say. I'm going to say it again. A party is more fun with more people. And we have Trey Honeycutt, managing partner, and person who has pioneered so many training modules and has the intellectual mindset to make challenging things easy to understand. And I'm going to blub on him more when I bring him on in a second, but this is my pre-commercial before my Trey Love Fest, is that share this out. Trey is about to talk about persistency, how to keep more money in your bank account, how to keep more policies on the books, and then he's going to talk about this revolutionary new lead type that FFL just got access to. And he pioneered it. I don't know how, tell us how long he pioneered it before he was like, hey, we got to get this to more people. And now here we are getting it to more people. So join America Live, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, share the links out, get them in your group chats, your WhatsApps, your Telegrams, etc. Get your agents on. They're going to, there's a thing that I learned from Alex Hormozy. It says, you gain status from a group, from society, by the value you give, not for what you ask to take. I focus constantly on giving value, giving away everything I possibly can. Gary Vaynerchuk's philosophy, jab, 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 right hook, right? Jab, 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 then right hook, ask for the sale, right? Give, give, give. You guys are not upsetting people by asking them to join you on a high level, high quality training call. The philosophy that I don't want to, it's like the philosophy, I don't want to bother my clients. I don't want to call them 3 times. I don't want to call them 3 times in a day. They requested the coverage. You paid $20 for the lead. You paid $60 for the lead. They're busy. You're busy. Call them until you get a hold of them. Professional persistence. Same philosophy in agency managing and leadership is pushing people to do things that will better their lives. Every single person on this call right now, almost 400 of you, will be better off if you push people to come and join this call. They stop dialing for 30 minutes and come listen to this call. Come get better with me. I'm getting better. You're here getting better. Why are your agents not here with you getting better? That's the philosophy. Make no excuses for people. Make no excuses for your clients. Only make a focused effort to get yourself better and help every person around you get better. And that's what Trey's going to do right now. So without further ado, let's bring on my boy.
Well, howdy. How you doing, Grady?
Trey, I'm so good. I am so good. Now, let me give you a proper intro, and then we'll get into fun stuff. So, hello, everybody. Grady Polson. Welcome to the America Agency Call. I am so grateful that my long-term, 9-year friend, Trey Honeycutt, is on this call with us. And I will tell you a quick story before I completely bring him on. Early in this business, Before all you young Padawans could sit in flip-flops, board shorts, and backwards hats and sell from your kitchen table, there was a time back in yesteryear when we had to walk uphill in the snow both ways. We had to put on Dockers and nunbus shoes and polos and carry a Samsonite leather briefcase with brochures in it and drive our butts all across the city with paper applications and sell insurance to humans face to face. So early in my career, following Andrew's lead, following the leadership of many people inside our great company, back when we were doing only $80 million a year. $80 million a year. Fast forward, see where we are today. Watch what we can do another 10 years. Buckle up. But back then, I bought leads in Tucson. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Tucson's about 2 hours away. If any of you know Tucson, for some reason, when they built the city, they built no freeways. So the city, there's one interstate that goes along the outside, and the rest of it is 35-mile-an-hour, pothole-laden, coyote-ridden, and saguaro cactus-leaned-over roads all across Tucson, Arizona. I don't know why they don't want to build freeways on the gigantic city that it is with 1 million people down there, but it is what it is. So I'm down there tootling around, driving around, trying to find my clients' houses, getting no-showed. I get into a home. I find out he speaks Spanish. So I'm navigating this entire presentation through his son, who speaks English. He's 13. That was a new challenge. I call Andrew. I'm like, the guy only speaks Spanish. He's like, does he have a kid? Yeah, he has a kid. Okay, perfect. Have his son translate. I'm like, okay. So Andrew stops answering my calls, but somewhere along this presentation, I reach out to Trey, and within a second, Trey answers. He calls me. He goes, Grady, you're going to want to put him with this company, not that company, because that company is not going to take him based on the health conditions. Oh, and then make sure you look out for page 3. You got an initial right there, because sometimes people, when they put the monthly premium, they put the annual premium. And then on the 5th page, make sure you get them to sign the HIPAA disclosure, because a lot of agents overmix that. And make sure you actually get a voided check, because if you don't, they're not going to take a picture. And like, he just coached me. And then I called him back again, and maybe 1 or 2 more times. And this man, who had no reason to help me other than the kindness of his heart for whom he is, answered, helped me in the early months of me getting started in this company. And without Trey and without his kindness, who knows where I may be today with getting frustrated with lack of support. And I think that echoes whom we are as a company, who Trey embodies as a person, and who we are all as people trying to get better for ourselves and give greater opportunities to others. So Trey, every chance I get, I'm going to thank you, because I appreciate you more than ever. I remember that black couch and that little kid right there drinking a Fanta, telling me, translating Spanish to his dad while I'm trying to navigate paper apps. And so this is how it used to be, guys. And now here you are. What's your excuse? Holy cow. So without further ado, Trey Honeycutt, FFL Coast to Coast, FFL Success Zone, incredible father, incredible husband, incredible producer, incredible manager, managing partner, full-blood managing partner with integrity a few years ago, and still burning the candle at both ends to provide a great opportunity for himself, his family, but more importantly, his agents and the new ones joining each and every day. So without further ado, can you please help me and drop a TH in the chat below and fire this man up with gratitude for whom he is and what he's about to share. Trey, how are we doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing great now. I should get on with you every day and go through that. That was exciting. You almost made me cry. I remember that conversation, actually exactly what we were talking about with the initial of the app and all that stuff. That's wild. You got such a good memory. It's hard to believe that was 9 years ago. It goes by quick.
Emotional impact of repetition, dude. I'm 2 hours from home. I got a guy who kind of wants insurance, and I'm like, I need to figure this out. Will you please help me? Andrew's just tootling along, playing Angry Birds. Didn't answer my call, but we figured it out, Trey. So forever grateful to you, brother. Thank you so much. So give us a quick, for those that don't know who you are and how incredible you are, I'd love if you give us some, little backstory, obviously how you found insurance, your journey here has been incredible, but like, I always love people because we've grown as such a company, right? You and me back then, 80 million as a company, to see it at 800 million. And it's just remarkable what has been created through Sean, Andrew, of course, Zach, the entire company. And we've done okay, but like, I'd love if people just get to know you a little bit better.
Well, thanks. I mean, I was first introduced to Family First Life in 2014. Actually, before starting with Family First, I worked at the same, quote unquote practice company that Andrew was at. And my first meeting at that company was Andrew's last meeting. That's how I was actually introduced to FFL. And Andrew knew that he was leaving to go to FFL the next day. And so he took everybody out to dinner. And the way it worked at this company was they had all day meetings on Thursdays. And so you would start at like 9 or 8 a.m. and you would go to like midnight. And it was an ordeal every week. And this was my first one. So I come to the thing and I go through it all. And then Andrew knew he was leaving. So he didn't really like the way the meetings were set up. So he took the suggestion box from the office. There were about 70 people there. And he got everybody to fill the suggestion box with things that they hated about the meetings. And he said, this will be really funny. They'll know it's a joke. Well, he knew he was leaving the next day. So we all stuffed like 400 suggestions into like, these meetings suck. They should never let that woman talk again. She runs everybody off. Everybody should quit. I would have quit. I mean, like literally, like it was really hilarious. And then the next day, Andrew went to FFL. And I kind of stayed around there for like 9 months because I didn't know any better. But the way I ended up with Family First Life is I didn't want to compete with Family First Life because we were doing in-home presentations back then. And when I would get to the house to go meet somebody, I'd get there first, and then the FFL guy would come behind me and replace my business because he was getting direct mail. He was sending direct mail like I was. And it was a bunch of different FFL guys. So I was like, this really sucks. So then I would get there second, and they had that Americo product with cashback that I didn't have. And I couldn't beat that, so I could never replace their stuff. So finally, after like months, I called Andrew up and I was like, hey, do you remember me? And he goes, yes. And I go, hey, would you please stop replacing my stuff? He goes, no, but I didn't replace one yesterday because I felt bad. And I was like, okay. And I go, well, can I join you? And some way or another, I talked my way into it. And so that's how I ended up at Family First Life, because if you can't beat them, join them. But the thing that endeared me to Family First Life, and I won't tell too long of a story, Grady, but this is what's kept this real and the same for me the whole time, is like, my first 90 days at FFL, I made like $45,000, and that was more money than I'd ever made in my life doing anything. And what was wild about that is I failed the vast majority of the time. The vast majority of the time, the people weren't buying the insurance from me. But because I was running so many appointments and I was getting so many reps, I was just encountering people that would have bought it from anyone. And some of those happened to be some bigger premiums. So over the course of that first 90 days, I had some really good deposits. Well, the next entire year, for the whole year, I only issued $70,000 personally. And what endeared me to Family First Life was that Andrew Taylor did not treat me any different than when I did, $45,000 in the quarter or $70,000 for the whole year. And for two reasons. The first reason was he was selling insurance himself. So the best thing he ever did for me is not need me. Like, my production didn't really count much to whether or not he was going to make a living tomorrow. So he was just cool with me because he was cool with me. And then the second thing that endeared me to Andrew during that time was my mother had passed away in that second year. She'd had cancer and it came back. And then she ended up dying. And Andrew gave me a job in his office because he just knew I was at my house depressed. And I don't even think he knew what I was going to do. I don't think he realized what my role would be in the company. But he was just trying to help me out. And so anytime I think about back then, I always think about that, because that's the thing that endeared me to Family First, was that this has always just been about doing the right thing and trying to help people. And it's really never changed. And that's one of the reasons why, this organization, the FFL USA organization, your organization, we've been able to continue to scale, because we approach this like a team sport. We don't know how to do it any other way. So.
Amen, bro. It is, a testimony to everything. When you worked at that office, you created from original contracting. I mean, the contracting module, HCMS, NLC, SureLC, was modeled after a WordPress form delivery email, SMTP email server that Trey created. the video that Sean Mike has right now that he filmed, that's every agent has access to as my website and your gateway, modeled after a video that Trey originally filmed. That was our original opportunity video that you crushed it at. I went from 0 to VP and beyond with that video, just getting every prospect I could to watch an introductory overview video about what our company was. Hey, this may not be for you, but check out my buddy Trey. Filmed a little video and watch it. So, I mean, your hand is all over this company, and without you, who knows where we would be, where I would be, et cetera. So, forever grateful. So, Trey, you have you've pioneered many. You've got a huge health business going. You were the master of a lock-ins last year, which went to 24 different lock-ins last year. The lock-in 29 lock-ins, but who's counting? 29 lock-ins last year, and has tremendously grown his profitability, his business, et cetera, helped his agents become more profitable. And I want to get to the thing we're going to talk about, right? The big thing, which everyone's excited about. I'm excited about to learn more in specificity about it. But before we get there, will you talk about, you're just on stage at convention, you got the award, top persistency agency manager. So are there a few things that you do, teach, products you sell, multiple policies, send them all flowers, send them threatening text messages? You can never cancel this, Dolores. How do you get your agents to get their clients to keep so much more business on the book when the industry average is 70%? Pathetic. And your agency's doing plus 90, plus 95%. What are you doing differently?
So I break it down to a few things. I think the number one thing that most people overlook is we buy enough leads. Persistency is directly proportionate to how many leads you buy, because as long as you have enough at-bats, you don't enroll people in policies that shouldn't get policies. Like, if you only have 5 leads and the first 4 don't answer or hang up on you during the introduction, and you get one person on the phone that's drunk and maybe in a nursing home, like, you will do everything you can to get that person AIG, because that's the only thing you can write them, right? Because they're in nursing home. Or Corbridge. So, but when you have enough leads and you've invested consistently in your business, then the people you're talking to, you can be more selective and use your brain. Like, if the person needs to post date it for 2 months because their banking account is negative and they've canceled 2 other insurance policies per your conversation, like, you probably shouldn't enroll that one. You can make a smart business decision on, like, I'm just going to call the next lead and find the person that's more suitable for this. So the number one thing is to make sure that you're buying enough leads. The number 2 thing is, don't post date. Try to avoid post dating at all costs. And a lot of people go, well, what do you say? Well, I haven't sold insurance in a while. Like, I sell a policy every now and again, every other month, couple one month, might miss one, 3 the next. But we talk about it a lot. And what we talk about a lot, what ends up happening is the top producers in the agency are constantly beating the drum of, don't post date. Because if they don't have $54 today, they're probably not going to have $54 this time next month. So just either tell them, let's do it right now, we can't post date it, or it's a persistency disaster when you're consistently post dating, trying to make sure that the money's going to be in the bank. Like, you need to sell people that have the money today. The other thing that we do that I think has played a huge role is we look for ways to bundle different products. The more products you write in a household, the more likely they are to keep it long term. Like, your persistency goes up exponentially the more policies you place in a house. So one of the ways that we do that is we focus a ton on IULs, kid policies, and annuities. Out of the top 10 annuity producers last year, 3 of them were in the Coast to Coast organization. And that was a direct correlation of asking the question to sell more policies to increase persistency. It wasn't necessarily just about them getting more commission or even putting the client in a better position. We talk so much about putting so many different products in one house because that raises up persistency, that people look at annuities as a way to do that. And so that's how it works. And you mentioned, having a large health agency. A lot of those people that are leading with a health product or a cancer product or whatever it is they lead with, what they do in our organization is they use that as a reason to write more IULs and write more annuities. And so when you write those permanent insurance products like IULs, they automatically have a higher placement and persistency. Not a higher placement, but they have a higher persistency. People don't buy IULs to cancel them. They buy them to keep them. They got to keep them for a year just to see how they do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cheat code. And then when you're selling multiple products to one person or one household, it increases your chance to get referrals. That also will allow you to have higher persistency. And it makes you a trusted expert, so that when people are thinking about canceling, something I learned from Andrew is, if somebody's thinking about canceling, when I first started in the business, I had the worst persistency. I almost got kicked out of FFL because my persistency was so bad. And I would go to the office every day, and I didn't believe that anybody was making any money at this. Like, I thought everybody just had nothing but cancellations, because I had this baggage of everybody lying to me in every sales organization I'd ever been in. And I kind of brought that here. And I think this is all smoke and mirrors. Like, nobody's actually making any money. That's what I thought. Hopefully it's okay to say that. That's what I thought in the beginning.
So everyone has doubts, right? Everyone's got frustrations and doubts and fears, and we've got them too. We just push past them.
And trust issues. So I would come to the office, and Andrew would be in the office, and we used to do in-home, right? So he would run in the same area, the same county every week, or same 2 counties, twice a week, however he did it. And he would come in on a, Monday morning, and I would listen, because he did everything on speakerphone, because that's how Andrew does stuff. And people would call in wanting to cancel policies. And I'm like, see, all his policies must be canceling. And so what he would do is he would answer the phone calls. He wouldn't avoid them. He'd tell them, hey, I got to come out and get you to sign something. And he would go back out there. And I thought, man, this dude ain't making no money. He just drives a Nissan, because Andrew's really frugal, frugal in his personal life, but not in his business. So we get to the conference that year, and Andrew gets like a persistency award from America. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. And they said it was like 90-something%. And so I went up to him after, and I go, dude, I hear people calling to cancel. Like, what are you doing? And he goes, well, I'm answering my phone. And he goes, I bet you're afraid to answer your phone when a client calls. And I go, yeah, because I don't want them to cancel. And then he said something that totally changed my whole mindset on all of it, is he goes, dude, if somebody wants to cancel, would you rather know sooner or later? And I was like, well, dude, yeah, I'd actually rather know sooner, because the sooner you know, the more chance you have to actually turn it around. So I went from this mindset of trying to avoid, conversations about people wanting to keep their policies, to like running headfirst into it and being able to like talk to people about it. But if you're avoiding the people calling you and they want to cancel, and they got to leave you 3 voicemails, or they got to send you a text message saying I'm canceling, or they're saying, hey, I'm calling the carrier, that's too late. You want them to call you before they call the carrier so you can talk to them. Because when you start talking to people that want to cancel their policies, you find out some incredible things. Like people, like one of the most memorable cancellation calls I ever got was Cecilia was her name. She calls me, and I can't remember her husband's name, but I remember her name. And she goes, hey, we're going to have to cancel this because we were doing the math and it just really doesn't make sense. And I go, well, how so, Cecilia? And she goes, well, it's 190, whatever it was a month. And she goes, but if Bob dies, I can't afford to pay 190 something a month. And I go, Cecilia, I did a bad job. If he dies, they're going to give you like $55,000 or whatever it was. And you don't have to make payments anymore. And she's like, oh, that's amazing. What if he dies next month? Yeah, that's how it works. And she goes, oh, this is a great deal. I'm keeping this. And I thought, how many of those do I miss? Because they just missed the memo, and I was afraid to answer the phone. So So that's pretty much it. We talk about it a lot. We get people to buy enough leads that they don't have to beg people to buy it. And then we run headlong into the conversations and don't avoid it. And we bundle a lot of products in the home, and we focus on IULs and annuities. That's pretty much it.
I love it. More policies in the home. I believe the stats are this. It's 34% industry-wide stays on one policy and goes up to 70% if you get two. So you literally double your return of policy staying. I believe it was over a 5-year period, right? It was a longer period. It wasn't like 34% of business falling off, but over 5 years, if you do two, it's up to 70%. One final question about this. Is there anything you teach about, the close or the follow-up? Like, are you a thank you card? Are you a flowers? Are you a chocolates? Are you 2-3 calls from the staff? Anything you try to recommend, or because that's where I always go, the first time when we started selling virtual, and this girl goes, I just issued 50,000 last month. I was like, that's incredible. What's your follow-up process? She goes, nothing. I just sent him a text message, say, hey, Mary, I'm your broker. And give me a call if you have any questions. I'm like, you're going to have some problems. You've got to care. You got to care, right? As much as you can, in a reasonable amount. You have to drive out there and read policy to them. But right between there and nothing, it's got to be more towards that. So what are you kind of teaching that sort of final, hey, we got brand new agents that just sold their first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 policies. What should they be doing to make sure those drastically increasing the chances of those staying on the books?
Yeah, so immediately we teach everybody to send a text message with the policy details, the benefits of the policy, the date it's coming out of the bank, and what the monthly premium is, who you have down as the beneficiary, and if anything happens, make sure that they get in contact with you if they have any questions. So immediately follow the sale, a text like that goes out. And I know a lot of people use Lead Chat Pro. A lot of my guys use that. They do that from inside the system. They do this whole thing. And then the other thing is the follow-up texts and thank you cards by mail. A lot of guys do that. We talk about that a lot, thank you cards by mail. And then the birthday and anniversary texts of the policy, all that stuff really helps. They just need to know that you're a real person and you didn't just, take their $47 and go to Mexico, or wherever people have these ideas of, it's kind of funny. You get on final expense calls and people are, I don't want to give you my bank account info. You have $17 in there, Dolores. What am I going to do? I just spent 45 minutes to get your $112. There's much better ways for people to, they could just go on the dark web or there's other ways to do it. I'm pretty sure, I think. So anyway.
Perfect. Well, awesome, Trey. So thank you so much. All right. We're going to close this section right here and we're going to move towards the next section, which we're all super excited about. And so here's my my final rally cry for my commercial. If you haven't texted anybody yet about joining this call, now is the time to do it one more time. Hey, Trey's about to right now go over this brand new lead type that's exclusive to FFL, and agents are crushing it with. You should hop on for the next 20 minutes and hear about it. There you go. So, all right, without further ado, Mr. Honeycutt, so excited to be on here with you. Your passion towards finding solutions is something I think is just in your soul, right? Whether there's something broken, how do we fix it? Contracting's a mess, how do we fix it? Marketing and presentation's a mess, how do we get better quality leads for agents so we can move faster? What's working in other industries that should be working in our incredible industry? And so I'm going to pass it over to you, but you have pioneered there's a version of this that existed that was more, as my grandpa would say, kludgy, right? A little bit kind of funky where you got to kind of go through a someone and someone. And then there's this way, which is absolutely fascinating. And this is a brand new lead type that has been under the hood, that is now fully out of the hood. I don't know what the opposite of under the hood is, and so I'll pass it to you and to kind of explain this to everybody, what it is, how it works, and how, we'll pass it to you, brother. So I'm excited.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me on to talk about this. I'm excited about it. For those that don't know what this is, what we're talking about is consumer-generated inbound calls. Okay. The lead generation business has evolved just as much as the insurance business has evolved over the last 15 years. And so there was a time at Family First Life when I first started in Family First Life, if we talk to people about simplified issue insurance, meaning like I got you a policy and then it issued on the spot and it came out of your bank account the next day and I got paid, like people thought we were con artists back in the day when we would do simplified issue, because it was $11 more a month for Dolores if she got the policy and get it immediately issued, or she could do a physical and not get any policy at all after it goes through all the underwriting. So FFL revolutionized the insurance business by pushing and making simplified issue business like a thing in the industry. Now, every carrier wants to do instant issue. Every carrier wants to do simplified approvals and make it faster, speed to the lead, speed to the client. All of that's because of us. Like we pioneered a lot of that. Family First Life did. At the same time, inside the lead generation business, there was this movement to pay per call marketing. And the old way to do marketing would be somebody returns something in the mail, they fill out a form, it gets sent to you, you buy it, you get it however you get it, and you call the person up on the phone, and then you pitch them and you sell them whatever it is you're going to sell them. Well, in every industry since like 2010 or so, there's been this migration to not pay per data lead, but pay per call lead. Because there is no more effective way to get an interested person on the phone than to have them call you. That is the highest intent lead you can ever get, because somebody's taking out their phone that's with them, that they carry with them everywhere. They're being interrupted by some sort of advertisement, and their interest is piqued enough for them to go, I wonder what that's about. And they push the button and they call you. Until Elon Musk invents teleportation leads, this is like the future of, this is like as good as it could be. Unless somebody can teleport to me, this is as good as I can get the thing. Now, what's interesting is the entire time that Family First Life has been growing the way we've been growing with data leads, this pay-per-call revolution has happened throughout the industry, including the insurance industry. But the only people that have really taken advantage of this technology is really call centers within the final expense industry. So what we did is I had relationships, because I used to do leads for a living. That's what I did before Family First Life. And I understood pay-per-call. And I'd met some people that were doing pay-per-call within the insurance industry that had call centers. And I was like, well, this is really interesting. So I just started dabbling around. And I came upon the partner of one of my former bosses, basically, when I used to be in the lead business. And this is somebody who I used to actually generate leads for dating sites. So I used to do that for a living, which is I could do a whole podcast on this. But back in like 2011, if before they had all the like apps for dating, they would have like actual dating sites where you had to go like create a profile so that you could find like the love of your life. And it was like Match.com, and it was like Christian Mingle and these types of sites, right? And so if I would run an advertisement as somebody in the lead business, I would place my pay-per-click advertisement out there, and somebody would click on that advertisement. And if that led them to Match.com and they created a profile, I would get like $11. Okay. So I would spend like $1,000 a day on advertisements, 2,000, 3,000, whatever it was, to get enough people to create memberships on these sites where these networks would pay me for those leads. And one of those people happened to be the partner of the guy that basically revolutionized the pay-per-call industry, who is Adam Young at Ringba. So that's how I came across the Ringba guys. And I went to them and I was like, hey, like, how many calls? Because there's other agencies that do calls, but what they do is they usually have a relationship with one or two publishers that just does calls for that agency, and the phone rings and it works out. Well, Ringba is kind of like the platform that all calls are passed through. So I would say 95% of the call industry touches Ringba in one way or another. So they're highly influential. So when I talk to people about like the scalability of this lead type, we've built FFL on data leads pretty much on Facebook ads, right? And thank God for the amazing lead vendors that we have. But people that generate leads for a living that are generating calls, they touch Rainbow one way or the other, and all of their overflow ends up going through Rainbow one way or the other. So the access to the amount of data and information and inbound calls, just to give you an example, an average day inventory is about 100,000 calls of people that are calling off the same final expense ads that we run for data. But instead of that being a data lead, the call to action is like, call this phone number. And so I took a group of about 40 agents and we tested out the platform and we tested out the quality and we got good at the script and we did all the stuff. And we got that to where we were taking about 1,000 calls a day. Wow. And we're generating sales from it really quickly. And then I took that and introduced that to Integrity, and we integrate it into the Integrity Connect platform. And so what we really did was we took the largest lead buyer in America for insurance, and we coupled it to the largest lead pipeline in the world. So as the demand will increase, they have the influence to get more publishers to create more final expense ads and make it a fluid thing so that we can grow with it. So that was the whole process. So how does the lead work? You have 90 seconds to vet the lead.
They call you though. That's the magic, right? They're instead of like a live transfer where they'd call a company and the company would ask them some questions and they'd call you and say, hey Trey, I've got Dolores on the phone. And then you talk to Dolores, like the lead is calling your phone. Yes? Yes,
it's coming. What's happening is you turn it on in Integrity Connect and your phone rings, and that's Dolores, and she's calling from an advertisement. And now you have 90 seconds to make sure that Dolores understands that it's final expense insurance, there's a cost, that she's under the age of 85, and she's in a state where you're licensed. Now, I have to be careful how I present this, because some people hear that and they say, well, you have 90 seconds to disqualify them or you don't have to pay the $55. Well, in order for this program to work, I just told you all the good stuff. I'm going to tell you sort of the downside of it. The conversion to billable calls has to be 30 to 40% consistently, meaning you need to take 30 to 40% of the calls past 90 seconds, regardless of whether or not you think Dolores is drunk or she's crazy. Like, you got to take them. But when you look at it, but it's the same lead campaigns that we're already running. It's just they're not filling it out, they're calling, right? So how many leads do you call that you never get on the phone? They never answer, right? How many leads do you call that you get them on the phone and they say something like, well, I'm not interested, or I didn't do that? Well, it's kind of like the same thing, right? But these people are just directly calling you. So when you get the person that says, hey, I think it's free, like you have to overcome that like you would normally overcome that instead of trying to beat the buzzer to get off the phone in 90 seconds so you don't have to pay your $55. And what we've seen is this is universal. Sam is another vendor that's on the ILC, Spectra. He's been doing this for quite a while. And as you talk to him, what you find out is the people that sell the most off this lead type are the people that take the most phone calls. That's who sells the most. They take the most phone calls because they're having the most conversations about insurance. And when value exceeds price, people buy. So you get the same smoke screens in the beginning, but if you just sell insurance like you know how to sell insurance and that value is high, when you show them a price and it's worth it, it makes more sense than their family having to have a bake sale or a car wash in order to pay for their funeral. And that's what they're really looking for anyway. So that's the good, bad, and the ugly of the whole thing, really, is that if you don't keep your billable rate high enough, you won't be able to remain on the program because it'll mess it up for everybody else. Now, to keep everybody in line and like really provide value and make sure everybody understands how to use this lead type and make it really, really profitable, we do a daily training at 7 a.m. Pacific. I'm going to share a boot camp. Do you have that boot camp you can share in the chat, Grady?
Yeah, Natasha has it. She'll share it right now, so you guys can access that link. Okay. And you can. And if you want me to share the screen as well.
I'd like to share the screen if I can.
Please, yes. You should
How do I do it? Is there a thing?
It should be shares. I don't know.
No, that's the studio. This one.
Natasha, can you unmute and tell them what to push?
Yeah. Video file, share screen. All right, I think I figured it out. Don't show me these tips. I'm just going to put share screen and hopefully I did it right.
All right, we're open.
Here we go. Okay, so when she puts that boot camp in the chat, here's what it is. It's just a simple thing that comes up on your phone. And I have the setting up campaign PDF, so it shows you exactly how to set up your campaign inside the ILC. I have a 2-video walkthrough. The first one is from your guy, Newport Beach guy. Was it Darren? The guy you sent me. Anyway, it's a good one.
Derek Thrasher. He's our
He's a stud. This video shows you exactly how to set it up. This video shows you some stuff you might miss in case it doesn't work right. Then there's a required training. A lot of people get hung up on the ILC because there's this required training step. So inside this, can you see this page, Grady, or do I have to do something different?
I feel like you're still screen sharing. Did you click something?
Yeah.
Just maybe click it again. Or try to switch the screen you're presenting from.
How do I do that? Oh, share this tab instead. Look at you. Yes, you've done this before. Okay, so
and command zoom it so you can we can zoom in and see it bigger, or hit the plus on the top so it zooms in. The font's super small for us. Yeah, more. Yeah, now we're nice. Now we're cooking with butter.
All right. So there's this PDF that says setup instructions, and it tells you just step by step what to do. And what to do when you go to do the lead training, where to find it, if you don't get the email, to log in, what to do. There's that. And then let me get rid of this one. If I X out, what's going to happen? I'm just going to go back to this one and then share this tab instead. Okay, and then there's this other PDF that does common troubleshooting. So if it's not working after you watch the training, it'll show you what to do there. And then once you get it turned on, if you're not getting calls, this will tell you all the reasons why you may not be getting calls. Like for one thing, and this might get you really excited about taking inbound calls, because the latest iPhone update has this setting toggled on that basically says screen all my calls. And if you don't know to turn it off, you can't turn it off. So the good news is with inbound calls, these come to your cell phone, so the only person you have to worry about turning off this setting is you. So here's the instructions on how to do it. Put this little PDF in here, and this is all in the boot camp so that you guys can see it. All right.
Perfect.
And then, I don't know, I think I stopped sharing the whole thing.
Can you share the ILC at all? Do you have access to that to show us where to go and how to start a campaign?
Yeah, but it's better if y'all just follow those PDFs.
Okay, here we go. We can follow directions here.
I've already created all the campaigns, and so it wouldn't actually show you what it would look like for a brand new person. My bad. But let me go back to the share screen thing. I'll show you guys this. So on here, on this boot camp, we're back at it again. The script that works is Dominique Rogers inbound script. Dominique is incredibly profitable off this lead type, and so it'll tell you what to say and what to keep you in good graces, so that, because I'm going to tell you some more stuff. There's rebuttals, like what do you say the rebuttals? There's sample ads, so you guys can actually see what the ads say. This is important. I'll show you guys this. Let's share this tab. Okay, so the goal is to get people to call, right? And then some people will call, and this is some of the complaints that I get because I deal with this every day. So one of the complaints is they thought it was free. They were looking for a free $25,000. The ad they see must say free $25,000. It must say free 40. That's not what it says. I'm going to show you the actual ad that it shows. Will this play my audio, Grady, if I push the button, do you think?
It should, I believe so. Yeah, if you have it selected.
All right, let's do this. So I'm going to play this thing. And then I want to share this tab. Phooey. Hey, is this tab being shared? Yep.
We see
passed away unexpectedly. It destroyed my family. Thankfully, she was able to give us $40,000 to cover her end-of-life expenses. Here is what she did to take care of us even after she left. This is important. If you haven't gotten your $40,000 funeral benefit, listen closely. You might miss out on a big chance to pay for your final expenses. Seniors all over America have a special chance to get $40,000 to pay for their funeral and leave extra money behind for their loved ones. Most people don't know about this program, and this might be the last week to sign up. It's important to find out if you can join. I'll show you how. Don't miss your chance to get the best final expense benefit in years. All you need to do is click the Learn More button below and answer 3 easy questions. Don't miss your chance. Get it now.
All right, so then it says claim by clicking the Learn More button below. So this is the video ad for Facebook or whatever it is, right?
Sure.
And then, okay, so you saw the video. People go, well, that's misleading. It doesn't say life insurance. It says benefit. It says whatever. Well, then what's going to happen after they do that is they got to go through and answer 3 questions. I don't have all 3 questions, but one of the questions is, are you over 50? And it'll say something like eligible for affordable life insurance benefit or life insurance plan, up to $25,000 worth of coverage, burial insurance. It'll have words like that inside the ad. And then the call to action over here is, if you want to learn more, push the button. And then it calls you. So the people that are calling, there's no mistake that they're calling to make sure their family's final expenses are taken care of. But if they think it's a benefit or a state remember we used to do final expense, Grady, when it would be like the mailers, and we would drive all the way out to people's houses. And then, we would get there and we'd be standing on the porch. We're like, we don't want you to come in because unless it's free, it's a government benefit, right? And we're like, no, it's tax free. It's free to your beneficiary. They don't have to pay anything, but in order for it to pay out, you got to die. I mean, that's stuff we would say, because what the people are really concerned about is taking care of their family. So if you just turn it around and go, well, listen, it's not free, but it's designed for people on a fixed or limited income, and it is affordable, and it's way less expensive than your family having to come out of pocket $20,000 to bury you when you die. And I imagine that's why you were calling, right, Dolores? Yes. So are you interested in the affordable monthly payments if we can find something that'll fit your budget? Information's never a disadvantage. And then you just keep going like you would on a regular thing. But too many people get caught up on it. You know what I mean? So all that stuff's in the boot camp. Copies of ads are in the boot camp. It's fully transparent. What's also in the boot camp is you're going to see the other thing that's in there, and I'll share this too, is
it said affordable life insurance program. I mean, it's 2026. For people
Right.
to think that that something is just without question free is a foolish mentality, right? It's that client that doesn't even have $54. So there's an understanding that there's going to be a cost to it. I mean, we live in a society we've been marketed to now for a decade through ads, right? If that person is still so blind to society's messages that they are have their heels dug in, that you said it'd be $40,000 of free money for my family, like, okay, let's just just do your job and navigate those questions perfect. Yeah, it's not exactly free. It's tax free and then just do the objections. But guess what? They called you.
Dude,
They called you. This is insane, Trey.
it's life-changing.
I'm sweating in my freaking guest bedroom, dialing that Android forever. I would have given anything for someone to call me. Holy cow, they call us now. Teleportation next, though. We'll talk to Elon. What else you got to show us? Sorry, I just got excited about.
Well, and I'll share this one last slide so you guys can see. So we do a morning every day, Monday through Friday, on our Telegram, just a training. And what we do is we just take people that are doing really good with the program. All the calls are recorded, so everything gets recorded. So we'll play the first 90 seconds of recordings. We'll talk about what people did right. We'll talk about what people did wrong. We'll show people that sold, people that didn't sell, people that follow the script, people that don't follow the script. We interview people that are doing really well with it. We do that 15, 20 minutes every day. And this is where you find that. That's in a dial team that Grady showed at the beginning of the podcast, the dial teams it's one of those. It's the dialteam.fflall.com and then the Activity Junction breakout room. And then we have a Telegram chat that you can join too. So that's all on the boot camp. So what I wanted to say though, Grady, is like the biggest challenge, and I love FFL because we're always trying to stay ahead of the lead game and not sit on our laurels.
Right.
But the biggest challenge in this business is getting people to answer the phone. That's the biggest challenge. And so with this, the only person you have to get to answer the phone is you. Like, I only got to worry about one person answering the phone. And what we've noticed with new agents, and so there was some pushback initially in my group, and we got a ton of people doing nothing but inbounds. And that's not necessarily the great strategy. Don't do nothing but inbounds. Just do inbounds in the morning for 2 hours and then run your IUL appointments that you already got set. Like, this isn't to replace everything. This is just in addition to. But we got a bunch of people that push back early on and go, I don't want new people to do this, because if new people do it, they won't ever want to dial. And what this is really about is getting people reps quickly. Like, if I can get a brand new agent on the phone and they can have 10 conversations before 2:00 about life insurance,
Wow.
that's fast reps. They can learn really quick because there's a little bit of time in between the last time they talked to somebody. So the reps are high. The other thing is they can make a sale because they're going to get those people that are going to buy insurance from anybody. Like the super patient person that'll stay on the phone 2.5 hours with you and do four applications because they really want the insurance. Like, they run into those people and they get that belief check. And that belief check does more for an agent than any other training we can do. Like, it'll open their eyes and ears when they get a deposit for $1,100 and somebody called them. And so then they get used to get a deposit. And if they got a dial to go get that deposit, guess what they'll do? They'll go dial and they'll go get the deposit. But it's overcoming a lot of the reluctancy in the beginning, because it's forcing the person to actually have the conversations about life insurance. And then they get all the warm fuzzies. Like, I really helped Mary and she was really looking for it. And that really felt good. And then they want to continue and get more of that. So I love it. It's exciting. It's fun. It's a great thing for part-timers. We've never really had a great opportunity. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't know that we've had the best opportunity for part-timers. But if somebody can take calls on their day off in the morning when they work at the fire department the rest of the week, that's one way that somebody can tiptoe into it. It's a great recruiting tool. It's a great way for you to go back and pick up people that couldn't dial all day for whatever reason. People that you like, not the bad ones, the good ones that kind of fell off. We've been doing a lot of that. So this opens up a lot of doors for us. It gives us unfair advantages in a lot of places. And this is exclusive to Family First Life inside of the ILC and Integrity Connect. And it will probably stay that way for quite a while. So this gives us another, unfair advantage.
Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, amen.
I love it, Trey. Thank you so much. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, the boot camp is pinned below. Natasha will email and text out and post in our Slack that link that Trey showed for the boot camp. I'll also drop it on my leadership chats right now, and you can get access to it. You're going to go into the ILC under campaigns, and it's in the boot camp. But if people can't wait for the boot camp or they want to go poke around, which is the drop down they're looking for?
Yeah, this is what you do. You log into your gateway. You click on Lead Center. When you get to Lead Center, you click Campaigns. In the right-hand corner, you click Create Campaign. Then campaign type is going to be call. Lead type is going to be life. You're going to select Ringba, the 92nd one. It's the very top one. The description is going to fall out from underneath it. When you select it, you click the blue button. It'll bring you to a page that says put your first and last name, your national producer number, and your email address. That email address doesn't have to be the email address from Gateway. It's not the same thing. Like, it doesn't do all the other stuff Gateway does. So you just put whatever email address you want to put in there, and they're going to email you instructions to log in. You open that thing up, you set up a password, you go back, you put the password in, you watch the required training. It'll take you back to the campaign tab, and you can complete your campaign from there.
So Casey's commenting, he just tried to do it. Casey, you got to do the training. He said you have to do, how long is the training, Trey?
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Casey, you're going to be having leads coming in 14 minutes, because we'll be done here in a minute, and then you can do that training. So a little micro training, then boom, it's like the plan and roll leads. Plan and roll are another option in the ILC. So many options of leads. Now you can just sit at home and have people call you and sell them life insurance.
Well, you still got to work. I don't want to make it sound too easy.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be someone's going to make a reel of a guy laying in bed all day, just laying there with his phone on, making sales with his iPad, and he's going to write 10 grand in a day. because that's the world we live in now, because people want to protect their family. That's it. That's what leads are. Leads love their family so much. They don't know how to protect them, so they're going to reach out to strangers and hope they help them. Now, we're those loving strangers, and we get to protect them and put something in place to help them. Trey, this is fantastic. What the future is bright in all the rainbow colors. I'm out of words. I needed another thesaurus or something, another language. But Trey, I'm so grateful to you. Thank you for the time you shared this. Thank you for the detail, the effort, the sleepless hours and early mornings you put in to create this. We will get this link out that Trey shared within minutes, so you'll have all of access to it. Natasha's posted in here. But reach out to your manager and say, hey, how do I get that boot camp that Trey just talked about on the call? And then when they say what, you go, you weren't on the call with Trey? This is incredible. Well, let me ask, who's your manager? Because I'm sure he was on it. And then you get it from that person. And I'll have it posted here in a minute too. So guys, this is incredible, absolutely incredible. As our old mentor said early in the business, get good at getting leads. Trey made a great reference, says, do this for a couple hours in the morning, then go do your other stuff and do your other stuff. This is just another arrow in your quiver. Quick question. Is there a future where this beyond final expense?
Yes. Yeah, there totally is. There totally is. In a lot of different ways. That's a whole nother hour call. It's very interesting, actually. But yes, and this is just the beginning of it. I mean, it really is. This relationship, it's awesome. And we're going to be thinking back 10 years from now about this time and like what a change it was for all of us. So I'm excited about it.
Me too, brother. Thank you so much, guys. Hammer this some TH in the chat below. Throw Trey some love. Trey, ever long grateful for you. Evergreen, all the words that mean forever in different languages. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being, team orientated. And Trey's email is literally teamffl.com. Like that is how team focused he is on being a team player. And that's who we are. And Trey's an embodiment of that at the highest level. So thankful to you forever. Have an amazing day, bro.
All right. Talk to you guys soon. This was fun.
Right. Yes, sir. It was. Thanks, buddy. All right, guys. I mean, future is bright. I could have only dreamt of a world that I could have started this business and had leads call me. And as Trey said it so eloquently, like how many leads are we actually paying for? If we buy 100 leads, how many are we actually getting a hold of? Right? Maybe a third. So multiply your current lead cost of new leads by 3, because those are how many you're getting a hold of. And then does that number correlate to having people actually call you? This is surreal. And it's available to us right now. And as Trey said in that call, we can go right now straight to 100,000 calls a day. That's the capacity they have. And we're the biggest sales force in the industry. So I can't wait to see how they service us and what things they create as we continue to capitalize on this new lead source. So grateful. As we transition out of this call, I saw this video and this video spoke to me. This is our moment of Zen. It is a little longer than normal, but it's Alex Hormozi talking about success, business, and life at the absolute highest level. If you have seen it, wonderful. If you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to watch it. If you got to bounce or you want to go, let us play and go focus on your setting up your Ring Book campaign, let this play in the background and his words, his success, and what he's accomplished in life. He digs down and explains to us at a very, very high level how you can accomplish it too. So without further ado, massive gratitude to Trey. Grateful to be at FFL each and every day. Thank you to Integrity, and thank you to you for investing this time in yourself to get better. You're the one who's choosing to make a difference, and I couldn't be prouder to work alongside you. So without further ado, here's your moment of Zen.
In different fields, industries, and even broker world record, and how you can apply the same process to winning or getting whatever it is that you want. My name is Alex Hormozi. I'm a portfolio of companies at acquisition.com that generates $250 million per year in aggregate revenue. I did a book launch that did $106 million in a weekend and broke the Guinness World Record for the fastest selling nonfiction book of all time. And so there's my kind of proof behind that. So in this video, I'm going to explain a core shift in my understanding of getting what I wanted, and specifically in business. So this will be a belief breaker for you guys. So I talk to business owners for a living every single day, like literally every week, and I have for a decade plus. And one of the things that drives me absolutely nuts is the idea of industry standards. So you've probably heard this, people are like, oh, this is industry standard, that's industry standard. And I'll tell you a real conversation that might shift this for you. So there was a company that I recently met with that was about a $500 million company. So $500 million company, all right? And they were efficient, but it was an old school model. So I met with the chiefs of that business and I met with the leaders, right? And the entrepreneur who runs the business wanted me to look at certain components of how they do things in terms of acquisition and things like that. And when I walked them through their acquisition process, I was like, hey, these are some things that need to change. And there was a lady who was there who was in charge of probably maybe half of it. And at least, it fell under her purview. And as I would, point out things that were bad or like needed improvement, she kept repeating the same thing, which is like, well, we're industry standard. And and she'd be like, we're meeting industry standards. And she would get really kind of flustered. And she I would say maybe to a degree got offended because I was saying, well, this sucks and this sucks and these numbers aren't good. And they kept repeating, we're meeting industry standards. And so I paused and I was like, do you wake up in the morning and just say, I want to be an average company, right? We are average. Half the people are better than us and half are worse. We are average. Who gives a shit, right? I don't know about you, but like I didn't get in the game, whatever game you're playing, to be average. Like the average business is average. The average American is overweight. They're in debt. They're divorced. They're depressed. And so the average business makes almost no money. Why would I use industry standards, industry averages, anything like that at all? And I say this because I have people who will push back on some of the things that I talk about with regards to margin, things I talk about in terms of timeline, when I talk in terms of pricing, right? And they'll say something like, well, in HVAC, it's different. Or, in SEO, it's a little bit different. Or, we've got XYZ issue in trucking and it's different. It's logistics, it's different. No, it's not. You get what you tolerate. You get what you accept and deem good enough. You are the standard setter. It is the highest and most important job in the company, and it is why some companies prevail and some companies fail. It's the reason that Jobs was so important for Apple, Elon was so important for Tesla, and XAI, and all the other things that he does. And like at a certain point, you cannot actually do anything in the company except for hold the fucking line. And the person who should run every department or every division should be the person with the highest standards, right? And this applies to everything, right? Sales rates, closing percentages, profit margins, cash flow, the people you date, the body fat percentage you hold, how fast you expect something to get done, literally everything. Real quick, I'm going to show you the exact 10-stage roadmap from 0 to 100 million plus that less than 1% of companies finish. I've now done multiple times. And so I can say with a lot of confidence that these are the stages as headcount increases that you need to get through. And I broke each of these down by 8 different functions of the business, what the constraint feels like what are the symptoms of it when you're going through it, and then what steps we actually took to graduate. And we've done this across software, physical products, service businesses, brick and mortar, all of this, and it works. And it's my gift to you. It's absolutely free. And so the link's in the description, but you just go acquisition.com/roadmap, just enter your info and it'll spit it right back to you all free. So let me tell you a story about a billionaire mentor of mine. Again, I had a conversation many years ago. And he said this thing to me that I'll never forget. He said, profit is unnatural. And I was like, what does he really mean by that? He said, it's common and normal for people when money is in a bank account to spend it. And that's why most people don't have money. He said, so if you have a company and it makes money and it actually starts to succeed, that success has this constant pressure of normalcy that fights against it. And so there has to be someone who holds the line and is like, no, we will not spend more, but we will keep making more. We will get more customers and we will not hire more people. We will find a way to service these customers better than we did our last customers without adding headcount. And we're going to do it even better, even faster, with less. And so let me tell you another example of something that just happened in one of our portfolio companies. So they needed to add 15 sales reps to hit their Q1 goals, right? And so the leader was saying how his plan was to hire 5 reps a month, right? Every single month. And doing it this way, he said, would, stretch the team, but it would still kind of ensure quality, make sure the culture wasn't, too stressed, et cetera. And honestly, it was a fair plan, right? But for this business, the extra sales guys were going to add about $4 million in profit that quarter. That's how much extra he was going to add just that quarter. So I pushed back and I said, why can't we do it in a month? And he had a lot of different reasons and he kept, it'll be cultural issue. I think we'll stretch the team. We might lose other sales in other places. And I kept pushing and pushing, but he had some reasons to come back. And thankfully, he's a stud. And then after the meeting, he messaged me back and said, 2 of our guys have bandwidth who are more senior. They can assist the new manager and onboard 3 to 5 guys each. If we do that, we can actually do it in a month. And boom, $4 million more potential next year in Q1 because of one thing. a higher standard. Just saying, like, why does it need to take that long? Why can't we like, if we were doing $1 billion in sales in this business, we probably wouldn't say we need to hire 5 guys a month. No way, right? We'd be like, we need to start with 50 and maybe add 50 every other week, right? It's just this minimum standard of something that you decide is enough or acceptable. And the crazy part about it is, like, we're the ones who decide this. And then we're upset that we don't get, or that we're upset that we got the fruit of our very low standards. And so the way that you can kind of know kind of what your standards are, what the standard of somebody else on your team is how many attack vectors you use to approach or solve a problem, right? So it's not about doing the same thing 100 times. That's not smart, right? It's about trying to accomplish the same goal with 100 different iterations and angles until one finally gets through, till you pass the goalie, till you chop down the tree, right? It's like, well, I'm hitting it this way and I'm getting rock. It's like, okay, well then let's try from another angle. Let's try underneath. Let's see if we can poison the tree. Like, whatever we need to do, like, can we reach out to our network and give a $100,000 bounty for another SDR? Is there a company with a large SDR team that doesn't make as much as us so we can buy? Can we hire 5 recruiters to speed up the process? Can we fly all of the SDRs in person to get them trained up faster, so we don't lose cultural issues and we can get them on-ramped in 3 days rather than in 30 days, right? Can the top 2, most experienced guys who have some blank space, have them sub in? Bingo, right? All of these have costs, obviously, but of the costs, they're still worth it. So you're not getting what you want because you're not attacking the problems you have enough times in enough ways. So you're trying 1 or 2 things and then saying, like, I tried that and it didn't work. I tried Facebook ads. I tried making content. I tried hiring a salesman and it didn't work. It's like, no, it's not that it didn't work. It's that you weren't skilled enough to make it work. Very big difference. And so you're going to tell me that no one on earth has ever had the same problem that you have right now? And of those many people on earth who've had it, no one solved it. You have somehow come across the Gordian knot of problems. No one has hired more than 5 SDRs in this period of time for a company of this size. Of course they have. And that's why those people won. And they didn't just accept that it wasn't possible within this timeline. And so the rules that I would encourage you to live by is that unless the laws of physics prevent it, consider it mental handicaps that your competition gets to live by and measure themselves by. Not a suggestion, a recommendation, and certainly not a fucking law, right? Industry standards are a handicap that you let your competitors use and think they're doing well. That is the gift that we get as soon as you get out of this belief. Because if you want to be average, use industry averages. And most industry average businesses suck, right? Why would we look at them to judge ourselves by, like, oh, this guy's completely broke and distracted and has no idea what he's doing? I should look at what his numbers are and say, oh, we're about the same. Is that an accomplishment? Should we be looking forward to something like that happen? Like, if you want to be the best, use physics and math and then work backwards. And so I think something that'd be really good to finish on is this great piece by Jeff Bezos. And I want to read it to you because I think it just really drives this point home. Differentiation is survival, and the universe wants you to be typical. This is my last annual shareholder letter as CEO of Amazon. And I have one last thing of utmost importance I feel compelled to teach. I hope all Amazonians take it to heart. So here's a passage from Richard Dawkins' extraordinary book, The Blind Watchmaker. It's about the basic fact of biology. Staving off death is a thing that you have to work at. Left to itself, and that is what it is when it dies, the body tends to revert to the state of equilibrium within its environment. If you measure some quantities, such as temperature, the acidity, the water content, or the electrical potential in a living body, you'll typically find that it's markedly different from the corresponding measure in the surroundings. Our bodies, for instance, are usually hotter than the surroundings. And in cold climates, they have to work hard to maintain that differential. When we die, the work stops. The temperature differential starts to dissipate, and we end up the same temperature as our surroundings. Not all animals work so hard to avoid coming into equilibrium with their surrounding temperature, but all animals do some comparable work. For instance, in a dry country, animals and plants work to maintain the fluid content of their cells, work against a natural tendency for water to flow from them into the dry outside world. If they fail, they die. More generally, if living things didn't work actively to prevent it, they would eventually merge into their surroundings and cease to exist as autonomous beings. This is what happens when they die. While the passage is not intended as a metaphor, it's nevertheless a fantastic one and very relevant to Amazon. I would argue it's relevant to all companies and all institutions and to each of our individual lives too. In what ways does the world pull at you in an attempt to make you normal? How much work does it take to maintain your distinctiveness, to keep alive the thing or things that make you special? I know a happily married couple who have a running joke in their relationship. Not infrequently, the husband looks at his wife with faux distress and says to her, "Can't you just be normal?" They both smile and laugh. And of course, the deep truth is that her distinctiveness is something that he loves about her. But at the same time, it's also true that things would be often easier, take less energy if they were a little more normal, right? This phenomenon happens at scale at all levels. Democracies are not normal. Tyranny is this historical norm. If we stop doing all of the continuous work that is needed to maintain our distinctiveness in that regard, we would quickly come into equilibrium with tyranny. We all know that distinctiveness, originality, is valuable. We're all taught to be yourself. What I'm really asking you to do is to embrace and be realistic about how much energy it takes to maintain that distinctiveness. The world wants you to be typical. In 1,000 ways it pulls at you. Don't let it happen. You have to pay a price for your distinctiveness, and it's worth it. The fairy tale version of be yourself is that all your pain stops as soon as you allow distinctiveness to shine. That version is misleading. Being yourself is worth it, but don't expect it to be easy or free. You'll have to put energy into it continuously. The world will always try to make Amazon more typical, to bring us into equilibrium with our environment. It will take continuous effort, but we can and we must be better than that. You have to hold the fucking line. Like, this is the last letter that Jeff Bezos wrote. And can you think about, like, of all the things that he wanted to say, the thing that he chose to leave on was the line, was this is the standard. This is what makes us different. And of course it's going to take work. Of course it's going to take more ways to solve the problem. It might cost millions more in order to do the better solution than the easy solution. But like, if I could just transfer this one thing, like, you can tell how good someone will be as an entrepreneur by the standards they keep for themselves. They continue to push back and say, like, why can't it be faster? Why can't it be easier? And there's famous, stories of, Steve Jobs putting the phone book on the desk and saying it has to fit in there. And people have been saying, like, it's never been done before, right? And you've got Elon Musk going on, on the manufacturing line saying this could have 2 bolts. And they're like, there's no way, no one's done it before. And he's like, why? Break it down to physics. Why can't we do this, right? And so when someone pushes back on you and says, like, we can't hire that fast. It's like, why? What physical law is preventing us from hiring that fast? If another company who's 20 times our size can hire 100 people a day, why is it taking us a year to do it, right? What choice are we choosing, or what cost are we not choosing to bear that we could bear to make the investment to pull our future forward? And I think it's like that push, that relentless energy, the drive to choose to be different, right? To choose to hold a value, the perfect value that you have as the ideal, and then to strive continuously and though imperfectly to try and live that out. And I think of that as like the reason you win or you don't win. And again, I'm not talking table stakes. If you want to be average, then just look at industry averages, right? Look at industry norms, industry standards. But most businesses, if you looked at the average business in the US, they break even. The median business owner almost makes no money, right? And so it's like, why would we measure ourselves by that? We have to, by very definition, reject the vast majority of what other people do in order to achieve what other people can't. And I think that is like I would encourage you to be less reasonable. And I would say that it has been a skill that has served me well. I mean, you can imagine saying, hey, I want to break the world record that every other person who has had a book has had massive media empires. They've had big deals. They had national media behind them for presidents and monarchs who released books. And I'm saying, I'm just some guy in America saying, like, let's see if we can do more than all of them. And we did. We fucking did, right? We outsold Prince Harry, Obama combined within 24 hours. And to be fair, please don't kill me for, having some point of disrespect for whatever secret nations exist, right? But I'm only saying this to make the point, which is like when I set that goal originally, can you imagine the amount of people who were like, I don't know if that's realistic, man. Like, hey, that's a really big number. Like, I've really thought, but what if it doesn't happen? I had someone ask me that. They said, well, what if we don't hit the goal? And I said, we dare greatly, motherfucker. That's the point. Like, so what if we don't hit the goal? It doesn't mean we give ourselves an excuse to not try, but like try in earnest, not say like, oh, we're going to do this and we hope this happens. It's like, no, we want to have 5 different versions of this thing going wrong and it's still hitting the goal. And so I say this because like the goals that I have and probably the goals that you have, never apologize for them. It's normal for them to be unreasonable. But you don't need to be reasonable. The world wants you to be reasonable. It's like you need to be unreasonable. You need to stick your feet in the mud. And there's a certain amount of stubbornness that's required. And I think part of the reason that Peter Thiel and some of these great investors talk about phenomenal entrepreneurs is that sometimes they don't have super high agreeableness, is that they don't need consensus. They don't need everyone else to like them because they believe what they believe, right? And the thing is that in order to have an outsized return at anything, you have to bet against conventional wisdom, right? And conventional wisdom can be right. And so that means that fundamentally either you're an idiot or you're right and you're early, and that's where you get rewarded. And so you have to think, like, at least the process I come down to is always like, what physical law of reality prevents us from selling this many books? And that's why it came down to like, all right, we'll have multiple generators. Like if we don't have power, we can't sell books. We have to make sure that we have backups for internet. If we don't have internet, we can't sell books. Okay, do we have enough books to sell? We got to print them. Okay, great. We have to have logistics so we have hundreds and hundreds of people ready to actually ship those books out. Okay, if we have each of these things, then all that it really takes is enough people to see it and an offer enough that is compelling, that makes sense for a big enough audience to say yes. That's it. And so you have these problems in your business. You're not cash flowing enough. You're not hiring fast enough. Your price isn't what you want it to be. If you believe and you can reason it to say like, what prevents us from doing this? I think that that's where you can get these special outsized returns. I think that's where you can have the unreasonable accomplishments. But it comes first from having unreasonable conviction that you will hold the line, that this will be the standard that you have. And the fact that no one else has ever done it before means absolutely nothing to you because there's no reason that they couldn't have done it. And good on you for ignoring the fact of their mediocrity.